Well, hello there. How is everyone? You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. Yes, I know, I'm running somewhat late. The house is in complete disarray. We're moving, and yes, I'm just trying to keep on top of everything. But you're looking absolutely amazing, by the way, and I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes. As in this video, we're going to potentially, well, I don't even think you can say potentially, unless well, we know they make spelling errors in some of these court docs, but some of the errors that they're seemingly making would go as far as to suggest that there is criminal activity going on here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take you through some notes, okay? Because I'm old and my memory's not what it used to be. And if you're not, by the way, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. We're heading our way up to 100,000 subscribers. Isn't that amazing? And yeah, let's get into it. And smash like as well, because I know you're going to love this one. State's response to defendant's motion in limine number 6, right? So the state, most tellingly, defendant's own DNA expert plans to use the phrase touch DNA on the knife sheath. No blood or hair or DNA from him was found on any of the crime scene evidence except the touch DNA on the knife sheath. Most surprisingly, defence's DNA expert not only mentions touch DNA on the sheath, but no blood, hair, or any DNA was found in the crime scene evidence implicating Kohberger. Page 3, that's the first sentence above. So MPD sent a DNA sample from off a sheath, then sent the sheath to the ISP lab. Stick a pin in that, all right? So just one more time. So MPD sends a DNA sample off a sheath and sent the sheath to ISP lab. So page 4 of limine number 6, the state. Miss Nolan, the ISP lab manager, will also opine the amount of DNA found on the sheath and the fact it came from a single source makes it more likely the DNA arrived on the knife sheath because of the primary transfer than secondary transfer. So we're reading directly from the doc here, okay? So from the primary transfer more than the secondary transfer. So no statement as to who the second transfer DNA is, okay? So page 6 of the limine 6, the state. Ms. Nolan has provided a sufficient factual basis by explaining her opinion is based on the quantity of DNA detected. So then they go through the volumes, 0.16 ANG, you know. And the fact, the DNA profile is single source, true single source in that area of the sheath. I think that's the important thing too, because a lot of you have reached out and said, I can't believe there's nothing else on this sheath. Nothing else on this sheath at all. Are we saying that sheath was squeaky clean apart from one single solitary piece of transfer DNA? That never really sounded right, did it? So again, stick a pin in that. So why would Nolan's opinion be necessary with a 99.9999998% match? Does that even make sense? So page 48, Nolan testified she did no work or reports on the DNA analysis. That's on the script, the transcript, page 48. It literally says, Nolan testified she did no work or reports on the DNA analysis, which it is stated the report of the scientist's work cannot be found according to Nolan. The page 150, Othram reports 2 DNA samples of 70.7 and 60 centimorgans, enough to create profiles and load into CODIS, okay? Othram reports continues on the page 155. Othram also discovers DNA samples of 250 and 70 centimorgans, more than adequate to create profiles that can be loaded into CODIS. Othram provided no information to identify a suspect from their work, which then the FBI ordered them to stop work and send everything to them. Are you still bearing with me, right? So the FBI became suspicious when the claim of the match, 99.99998%, leading them to think, you've stated you matched the defendant's DNA to the sheath. So why are you seeking an SMP profile to identify a suspect when you have the suspect? We have a total of 5 DNA samples now. In amongst all of the writings that we have and all the documentation, there is now 5 DNA samples. No warrant was obtained for the FBI's work, and subsequent warrant applications did not include the IgG results to inform probable cause, which Payne was well aware of. Taylor and Nolan on page 81, are you aware of a probable, able to be loaded into CODIS, it's a profile, unknown male A? So Nolan, unknown male A came from a swab from a sheath submitted by MPD. So it weren't a sheath, it came from a swab. So they didn't send the sheath to them. They've sent a swab and told them, by all accounts, that it's from a sheath. Okay? And that's an important thing to take into consideration. If what she's saying is suggesting what I think it's suggesting. So it's saying, I'll just read that one more time. Unknown male A came from a swab from a sheath submitted by MPD. Again, maybe it says, then the sheath was sent to the ISP lab. So it seems to be suggesting that there's potentially a sheath and the sheath. Does that make sense? A sheath and the sheath. So page 55, Nolan states all that was received from Othram was a report. False. Othram discovered 4 DNA samples. Again, we've just mentioned that. Page 48, Taylor and Nolan. Do you become involved in the homicide, or did you become involved in the homicides in Moscow in 2022? Her answer was, I was involved as the manager of the Meridian Lab. I haven't done any work on any evidence or issued any reports. But she stated she couldn't find the report and it was missing. Which takes us to page 61. Did we have a discussion a few days ago? Nolan says, yes, we did. Taylor, did you tell me you knew that to be Kohberger's DNA on the sheath? Nolan responds, I said I thought it was, and I could not find the report. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Nolan stated that she was not involved in any of the DNA work, nor did she write any reports, but the report she was looking for can't be found. Ms. Nolan, the report is missing because you stated Kohberger's DNA was on the sheath and said you thought it was Kohberger's DNA. Oh, Mrs. Nolan, good luck explaining your opinion when you claim to have no involvement in the DNA work or any subsequent reports. So why are you looking for a report if you didn't write the report? Othram found 4 samples, but Nolan states all they received from them was a preliminary report. Can we say hide 4 suspects? Can we sing that all together? Hide 4 suspects. Is that not what this looks like? And before I forget, I surmise Kohberger's DNA came from his apartment when he was in class or after he was travelling to Pennsylvania. Why would this be correct? Payne, Blaker, G-Fly, Fly, McFly. And again, all we're doing is going through the documentation. In order to, you need to invest yourself in this case, don't you? If you're saying that you believe in truth and justice and you want to follow everything, even if you're a guilter and you want to go down the route of pointing as much as you physically can in the direction of Bryan Kohberger, then that's not fair, is it? Because you're just hanging on to everything, like the Amazon click activity and all of this stuff. But you're completely ignoring the fact that there does seem to be 4 DNA profiles very, very openly being hidden within the documentation. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you all later on today if I've got time. If not, definitely tomorrow. Love you all. Mwah.